Morning folks, hope everyone is well. Saturday morning here. I got my Saturday morning coffee. Let's go. So I've got a new album for you, 9 tracks. It's called Branches. I've released it on GitHub. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Why have I done that? So in this video I'll put an album preview at the end. But for this video, I want to try and explain why I would do something as stupid as put an album out on GitHub. I reckon I've got sort of 5 half interesting reasons for that. So that's what's in this video. I'll put all the links to all the stuff I talk about. So it is on Bandcamp, or at least it will be when I hit the button. It is on streaming platforms, but also I'll put the link where you can listen to everything on GitHub and get involved. That's the video. So for those that don't know, GitHub is oh crikey, I should have researched this, like a repository for code. So if you've got a team of coders, they can all sort of work from the central repository. They can pull down code to their own machine. Also, they might want to make a branch off the main sort of repository, work on some code on their own, and then push that branch back to the main branch. So it's a way that folks can collaborate on code. I mean, there may be better ways of describing GitHub. So this is what it looks like. This is GitHub. This is my GitHub account. I believe you can follow me on GitHub if you're also on GitHub. I have a repository called Branches Album. I've got a folder called MIDI, Images, MP3. There's a README and an index. And all of this should make sense, hopefully, in the next sort of 10-15 minutes. So like all good repos, I have a README, which just gives you the track listing. So I'll say the album is called Branches. It's by me, by Abominable. And the tracks are all named after trees. And there's a little hyperlink there called Listen, which takes you to this rather attractive website that I did build. Here we go. So here you can listen to each of the tracks. So this brings us to reason number 1 for doing a release on GitHub. So with that website we've just seen, that brings us to reason number 1. So GitHub as a way of hosting a website. So when I first saw this and heard about this or read about this on Medium or whatever, I thought, that sounds cool. So obviously GitHub, fine, host, leave a load of code there or other assets, text assets, fine. Yeah, but being able to sort of host a website, that sounded pretty cool. And it is really easy to set up in GitHub. GitHub have made this, like, I'd say almost idiot proof. If anyone's interested in a really specific video about doing that, do let me know in the comments. However, there are other more technically qualified people on YouTube that give sort of demonstrations of how to do this. And as you saw in the repo, as I was just showing in the previous section, there was an HTML file called index. That's how you do it. As long as you've got a file called index.html, there's like one other step to do. It's really, really simple, and it works brilliantly. So that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, which sort of linked to that, is basically keep my skills up. So HTML skills, obviously there's a bit of CSS going on just to sort of style the page, and JavaScript. So there is some JavaScript going on. ChatGPT did help me with that. That was pretty impressive. So my experience of using ChatGPT, it's basically like having a really knowledgeable colleague sat next to you. You can go, oh, I'd like to do this, and this should do, and when I click this should happen. Yeah, and it just spits out the code and goes, oh yeah, and you may have to sort of adapt it and edit it. But yeah, that's pretty amazing. And I'll be the first to admit my JavaScript skills are, well, I'll say terrible. They're basically non-existent, but we learn by doing. Let me just give you a quick sort of demonstration of what the JavaScript is good and useful for. So there are a couple of things that I wanted JavaScript to do specifically. So yes, you can hear this. So if we start playing track 4, Sweet Chestnut, and I'll just track it to almost the end. So as track 4 finishes, I would like track 5 to start. So this is just coming up. That's, and then here we go. Track 5 has now started. Lovely. So that's what JavaScript is helping me to do. So we have a kind of Bandcamp-esque experience. So what that means is you can go start to listen to track 1 and the whole album will play. And also if you're listening to track 9, it'll go back and start playing track 1. Now the other thing that I wanted JavaScript to do is, obviously track 5 is playing, but if I want to listen to track 8, I want any tracks that are playing to stop. There we go. So now we're listening to you, and obviously Elder has stopped playing. So again, it's just JavaScript functions doing this. And then we're going to stop listening to track 8 to listen to track 6, Holly. There we go. And obviously track 8 has stopped and track 6 has started. So basically that's me just using a little bit of fairly basic JavaScript, I would say, to sort of control the experience. But what that means is you can listen to the whole album without adverts and with, and just leave it running. And also it runs on your phone. Have I tested that? I have tested that. Yes, works fine. Reason number 3, I have complete control over what the page looks like. Have a look. Tell me what you think. Is it too busy? Is it too in your face? Do you like the grid layout? Do you not like the grid layout? Obviously, my skills are limited by my own knowledge. I can only do what I can do. But again, we learn by doing, by taking on a sort of project. I want to achieve this, and then that's how we learn, isn't it? So there could be a million ways of like laying out an album website, right? I've got no issues with the Bandcamp layout. That's fine. I haven't fallen out with Bandcamp. That's a perfectly good platform. But it's just as an exercise in can I do this? Is this possible? Can I do this? I thought it was an interesting exercise. Reason number 4, bonus tracks. So I'll use the website to put bonus tracks in, maybe remixes. Let's take a look at that. Yes, so bonus tracks. So if we go beneath the grid here, we've got bonus tracks. We've got a track called Conkers. I forget what this sounds like. Let's have a quick listen to Conkers. Okay, this bit of the track I remember. So these, well, at the moment there's only one bonus track, but I probably won't put these on Bandcamp. So this is a really nice platform for me to, again, put in random bonus tracks or unreleased material or remixes. And also, if we look down, I've also, because this is kind of quite easy to set up, I've got separate websites for these other albums. So if we want we can also go and listen to the Weaving Blossom EP. And what you'll see is you'll see a house style start to emerge. I'm still playing obviously with some little sort of functions of how each page should look. So even, you know, the silicate page might look a bit different, but very, very much going with this grid format. So there we go. Oh, yes. And each page, you know, does have a link to Coffee. So, you know, if you feel like you've listened to music and you want to buy something, you can go over to Coffee there and buy me some more coffee. So that's bonus tracks, reason number 4. Reason number 5 is MIDI. So there is a folder here called MIDI. And so far we've got the MIDI for track 1, for track 2, for track 8, for track 9. So if anybody wanted to do a remix of any of these tracks, feel free. You can obviously, this is GitHub, so, you know, for those with a little bit of coding knowledge, you can clone the directory, listen locally on your computer, and if you want, remix the tracks. And, you know, we'll put a section on the website, because obviously I control the website. We'll put a section for remixes. Does that sound like a good idea? We could do that, couldn't we? We could do that. So in terms of remixes, there's an email, there's a contact at the bottom of the page of the website that I was just showing there. So if you click on this, you'll get my email and just contact me and say, oh yeah, I've downloaded your repo of remix track 9. Here it is. Send me the MP3. We'll stick it up. I mean, if you fancy that, you know, we can do that. We can do that. Maybe I'll do a remix. Maybe I'll do, like, you know, an X Station only remix, or a Roland only remix, or a sampled instrument only remix. That could be good fun. So there we go. Releasing an album on GitHub. Is it a good idea? Is it a terrible idea? Am I basically, because someone could go in and start deleting stuff. Could they do that? Maybe. I don't know. It's an experiment. But it might be an interesting experiment for sort of to try and make a sort of a living, breathing album that has a bit of life, just, you know, rather than just it's released and there it is. You know, it can, you know, live a bit with the community. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Could be a good idea. Could be a terrible idea. Like I say, it is on Bandcamp, because why would you ignore Bandcamp? It is on the streaming platforms, because why would you ignore the streaming platforms? This is much more of a, you know, DIY, you know, being completely independent of everything way to do things, which is dumb in a way, because why wouldn't you use all this nice infrastructure like, you know, Bandcamp and Instagram? As I said, partly this was to me to upskill, keep my skills, sort of, you know, keep my hand in with these guys, you know, which is, you know, this old technology, right? CSS and HTML, it's been around for donkey's years. But for just putting an album together, pretty much all you need, right? Bit of HTML, bit of CSS to make it look pretty, or not, and a little bit of JavaScript if you want to do something fancy. Easy peasy. All right, I'll do a little preview now at the end of each track. See you in the next video. We've got a new EP to work on now. Yeah, so there we go. Those are sort of... So if,